Okay guys, we are live. Okay guys, we are live. Alright, so hey everyone, I'm Harshal Jain, your mentor at Geeks4Geeks. Guys, in this video, we are going to basically cover up the remaining part of this project. So this project was basically covered in 3 videos. Okay, so already 2 videos have been completed. This is the third session which we are taking. Here what we need to do is, here first of all, the create classroom part. Then what else we need to do is, we need to join a classroom as a student. Okay, so suppose I think I need to test this first. So I'll just test it like this. Okay, so for example, this specific person 014 is basically a teacher. Okay, so I'm gonna just pick something like this. So you can see this guy was basically a teacher. So you can see I'm logged in with this guy. And after that, what actually happened is, you can see that today we need to focus on this classroom section. Okay, so basically we have the profile, then we have a create classroom button, which would allow us to create classroom. And then after that, we would be able to see those classrooms here. Once I click on this, you would see that this is the classroom. Obviously, I need to fix a little few things more, so I'll do that. Now, as a student, when you join that, you will be able to you will be allowed to join the classroom. So we're gonna do this everything today. So this is just small demo which we're going to do, and we're going to fix things today. Okay, so let me just open the project. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna open VS Code here. Okay, so I'm going to open VS Code, and this was the project. So I'll just zoom it a bit. And guys, I'm going to go really fast. By the way, the source code is available on my GitHub profile. For that, what you need to do is, you just need to type one thing, which is virajj014, github.com/virajj014, and you can just go to this URL. Okay, you can follow me on GitHub, and you can check out my LinkedIn. In the repositories, you would find the repository of what? Masters Gang backend, Masters Gang frontend. Okay, so both of these are available here, and you can just visit the repositories. I think the source code is not updated yet. Today I'm gonna update the source code, and the final source code would also be available here, right? So let's continue now. Okay, now what we need is, we need to start the project. Okay, so I'm gonna start my project, and let's simply open the front end here. So open an integrated terminal, so you can see this is the backend. So to run the backend, we need nodemon. To run the front end, we need what? We need npm start. Okay, so let me just show you what we have done till now, so you can just see. And this session is going to take maybe more than an hour, so sit tight and just watch this. You can just check out the source code from my repository later, and then write the code. Okay, try to understand things first, then later on you can check out the source code. Okay, so you can see that right now it's not able to get the user data. Why it's not able to get the user data? Maybe because we did some mistake. Okay, so anyways, we're gonna fix that. Like, what is the exact issue? So I'm gonna simply first of all check what was the issue. So here guys, you can just go. Okay, you can see here everything is fine. Okay, what we are trying to do is, in profile page we are trying to get the user data. Okay, so here we are trying to fetch the user data. Okay, so this is some kind of error. So first of all, let me just print console.log, and here I'm just gonna say data. Okay, and let me just check Okay, so if I just inspect, this would actually show me the error. So this is kind of object, null user not found. Basically it's not able to uh, check the tokens. Okay, so this was the problem. So let me just fix it. So first of all, here while we are logging in, we are getting credentials include. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go to app.js, and here guys you can see that basically this function check login is first of all checking things for us. Okay, so if the user is there, it's gonna give us the user data. Let me just first of all print things. Okay, so I'm gonna also do this, so it's gonna be showing me what user is logged in. Okay, so I'm gonna print data here. So you can see that authentication is successful, and we basically have the user ID. Okay, so I'll just check out what's wrong here. So basically I got the user ID, right? I got the user ID, and I'm just setting the data, setting the user ID there. Okay, fine, I think it looks cool, but the problem is that it's not able to get the user data. Why it's not able to get the user data? Let's come back to our backend code. I think till now everything is fine. That means check login is working perfectly, but I'm not able to get the user data. That means there is some problem with this API. Okay, so how we gonna fix that? So it's really simple. We're gonna go to the profile page, and first of all I'm trying to get the user data, right? So whenever I'm trying to get the user data, it's calling which route. Okay, so let me just close everything, and I'm gonna go to my backend. We have the get user. Okay, so let me first of all print console dot log req dot user id. Okay, let me just print the user id. Am I getting the user id or not? Okay, so let's do it. So if I refresh this, can see nothing happened. Why nothing happened? Okay, so if I just inspect, go here, got this object user not found. Basically there is some issue with this req.user id. Okay, so if I just say req.user id, and then if I just give a comma, if I just save this, okay, okay, so you can see, yeah, basically we got the user id also. I'm sorry. So if I just refresh here, you can see that I got the user ID. That means still everything is fine, but still there is the issue, user is not found. Because of what? Because I think we haven't imported things properly. What's the issue? We need to check if the user which we have is getting traced or not. So you can see it's defined at the top. This is fine. We are simply trying to find the user by user ID. Okay, so let's try to print this user. So I'm gonna just cut this part now. Okay, actually there is some issue with this API, nothing else. So I'm just gonna go here. Let's me just type user. Let's print user. Okay, so if I just save this, and now if I refresh this, can see that it's giving me null. Maybe because, okay, I think I need to log out first. Okay, then I'm gonna log in again. Okay, logged in successfully. Now let's check. Okay, it's fine actually. It was actually carrying the cache of my old project. That's why it wasn't working. Okay, fine. Now it's working. Okay, I forgot to log out from my old project. That means this API is also working perfectly. There's no issue. There's exactly no issue. We are just confused. Okay, so yeah, that's fine. I was just logged in with my other project which had same user ID, so it got confused. Anyways, it's working fine. Now what we need to do is we need to complete this user profile page. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna go here. Okay, and in the classroom routes, you can see that we created one route for creating the classroom, right? So let's go to this route where we create the classroom. Okay, so I'm gonna do the UI part later. First of all, let's complete the routes part. Okay guys, so if you have any doubts, you can mention in the live chat. I'll be looking at the live chat also. Okay, right? So basically what we're going to do is we are going to create some models here. Okay, so the first model which we are going to create is classroom join model. Okay, model actually, model dot js. Okay, so here guys, we basically going to have a model just like verification model. We're going to have a model here. This is just going to have the classroom id, student email, the OTP, okay, which the teacher received, okay, and the owner's email, that means the teacher's email. Okay, this is all things will be stored. Okay, so I'll explain this later, but I have created this to just keep an authentication system. Not everyone can join the classroom. Okay, first of all, what would happen? Suppose you are a teacher or I am the teacher, suppose I am teacher and you want to join. So first of all, you will click on join button, okay, and OTP would be sent to me because that's my classroom, I am the owner. Then I'll share that OTP to you. Okay, so for that we're gonna create this schema, simple schema to store OTP in database. Okay, so that, yeah, nobody can hack that OTP. Okay, that means it's not shared in the request. Okay, it's shared to the email. Okay, and one OTP is saved to the database. Okay, and from the email the teacher would share that OTP to the student, okay, via WhatsApp or something else. Okay, so that's something, it's like from backend to frontend I'm not sending any OTP. From backend to database I'm sending on the OTP. From backend to Gmail I'm sending the OTP, but not from backend to frontend. Okay, so it would cause problems. Okay, that's it. So we created one model, and I need one more model, which is post model, because we're gonna create the post system also. So post model, okay, post, sorry, post model dot js. Okay, so inside this, guys, we're gonna simply create a post, okay, whatever we are going to share notes as a teacher. So what would be the title? So we're gonna have a title field, description field of the notes, in which class I'm sharing the notes, okay, and who created this. Okay, obviously I'm the teacher, so my ID would be shared here. That's it. Okay, so I created the notes. Fine. So now what else we need is, we want to just have to go to user schema. Let me just check what else we need. It's fine. Okay, it's fine. I'm gonna go to classroom model. I think one change is needed. So we have name, owner, description, students. Okay, then one more field, which is post field. Okay, so it's gonna contain array of posts of this classroom. Okay, that's it. Okay, very easy. Okay, so these are all the things which we're gonna have. Now the models are complete. Okay, fine. I'm gonna go to the classroom routes. Okay, and I'm gonna make changes to some imports. Okay, so I'm gonna change the imports. Okay, so these are all the imports: classroom join, response function, or token handler. And then we have router, we need node mailer also, we need classroom join, we need user, we need post. We're gonna create post model. So we already created post model. Okay, we created user model, we created classroom model, we created classroom join model. Okay, so all of these are imported now. Okay, then we need the mailer function from auth routes. Just like this auth routes, we have this mailer function, right? So I'm gonna copy this and you can paste it here. Okay, so this function would simply help us to send email to a specific user. To whom you're gonna send email? Obviously to the teacher. Okay, obviously to the teacher. Okay, I think there is some issue. What's the issue? Post model. Okay, so we did some mistake in the post model. Let me just check. I think there is some naming issue maybe. You can see post model. Fine. Yes, so now you can see that app is working perfectly. Okay, fine. So we have this mailer also. Now we have this mailer. This mailer is basically gonna receive an email. Okay, we already discussed this in very first video. You can check out the previous live sessions. So we're gonna get the receiver email and the code, and then this function would handle everything. Okay, so this function would simply send an email to the teacher, okay, with the verification code. Okay, then the teacher would tell the code, OTP code, to the student. Okay, we are not sending the code to the student, we are sending the code to the teacher. So the teacher can check the OTP and send it to the student, so that student can join the teacher's classroom. Okay, so that's why teacher is playing a major role here. Okay, without teacher's permission, student cannot join the classroom. That's it. Okay, so this function is which we had. Okay, I think I need to do one thing here. Basically I need to check. Okay, actually the format was different, so I'm gonna simply change the format here, just the text here actually. So you can see team masters gang, just like this one. We're gonna go to classroom routes. We're gonna have team masters gang, OTP for team masters gang, and so on. So receiver email, and the code. That's it. Okay, so now that function would be able to send us OTP. Okay, fine. Now we're gonna have an route for creating classroom. Okay, so this is the route for creating classroom. We already created this in last video. We're gonna ask for name and description. Okay, so classroom name is required, and then simply in the owner field, what you're gonna do is you're gonna pass req.user_id, the person who is creating the classroom. Okay, that's it. So that's how the classroom would be created. We did that in the last video. Then what we had is classrooms created by me. So it's gonna simply find the classroom whose owner is me. Okay, whose owner is me. Fine. And then after that, we're gonna say we're gonna create one more ID, which is getting class by class ID. Okay, we're getting the classroom by class ID. Okay, fine. So here, guys, what we're gonna say is we're gonna say that what is your class ID. Okay, so inside the class ID, basically the class ID we're gonna ask from params. Okay, from the route. Okay, once we got the class ID, we're gonna give the details. Okay, so the details of the class. So I'm simply going to say classroom dot find ID and populate post. Okay, we're gonna populate the post. We can actually add one more condition here, that is if you are not registered, then don't populate post and things like that. If you're not a part of classroom, then don't populate close post, or if you are not the owner, then don't populate post and things like that. How we can do that? We can simply say that if user ID is not in the owner as well as not in the students list, don't populate the post. You can do that later, but right now I've just populated it. You can add more functionality here later. Okay, so now after that we have to simply say that you got the classroom by class ID. You have also populated the post. Why we are populating the post? It's very simple, because in class you can see post IDs are only saved, not the whole post object. Post object is available in the post model. So what we are going to do is, with the help of the post ID, okay, with the help of array of where is it? With the help of the array of post IDs, we are gonna get the post objects. Okay, multiple post objects. That's why populate method is used. That's it. Very easy, right? Populate method, and then I'm just sending that classroom object as a response. Okay, so I'm just gonna say catch, then error. Okay, and here what we're gonna do is we are simply going to say if there is an error, just show internal server error. Fine, and that's it. Here I'll just say that you can add one more condition, add one more condition. I'll just add a to do here. We're gonna do that later if we get time. Okay, add one more condition, that is if classroom dot classroom dot owner equals req dot user ID, or classroom dot students dot includes what? req dot user ID. We're gonna put some condition like that. In that case only populate post. Okay, in that case only we're gonna populate the post. Populate post. If you're not an owner, or if you don't belong to the class, why am I going to just send the post to front end? I don't need that. Okay, so we're gonna do that later in the upcoming part. Okay, so this is it. This is it. Now, guys, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the next API. In the next API, what we're going to do is we're simply going to create an API to add post. Okay, so add post API. Perfect. Let's close this. Okay, so we can add more security, right? Okay, so first of all, when we are adding a post, okay, when the teacher wants to share the notes, what we're gonna ask? We're gonna ask for title, description, and the class ID, in which class ID teacher wants to share it. Okay, then I'm gonna simply say inside the try, then if it fails, we are gonna show the error. Okay, here what we need to do is we need to simply say const classroom. Okay, we're gonna get the classroom by class ID. Okay, and then I'm simply going to say that here if classroom doesn't exist, classroom not found, and here we can add one more condition. Right now I haven't added that. If you get time, then we are gonna add that, else you can add it on your own. If classroom dot owner is not equals req dot user ID, that means you are not the owner, not allowed to share post to this class. That's it. If you're not the owner, you cannot share notes, right? You cannot upload notes to this classroom. Only teacher can upload the notes. Okay, that means only owner can upload the notes. Now if you are obviously the owner, okay, you can add the condition here. If you are the owner, then in that case this next condition would work. I have not added the condition right now. I have just left it in to do so that I remember, okay, this needs to be added later. But yeah, suppose if you are the owner, you are allowed to post. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna simply say new post object. Okay, so post object, here you can see a post object would be created. A title, description, class ID would be provided. In created by, we're gonna provide it what? we are gonna provide the user data. Okay, so user ID, basically req.user ID. So all the 4 fields are filled. Okay, then we are simply going to save it, and then what we're gonna do is we are simply going to say in the post of that specific classroom, push the post ID. Okay, so in the post ID would be also shared in this post object. Okay, post array. Okay, in this array, post ID would be shared. Multiple post IDs would be there. Okay, and a post object would also be created, but in the post model. Okay, that means separate. But that ID is stored in this array of the classroom. Okay, so that you can have multiple IDs here. This object doesn't get too big. Okay, this whole object doesn't get too big. It's just gonna contain the IDs of the post. With the help of the IDs of the post, we can just get the whole object of the post. Okay, so that's the condition which I'm passing here. I'm just saying that add the post ID to the classroom. Okay, and also upload the post object to the database. Okay, now after that, once everything is done, we're simply gonna say post created successfully. Simple. Okay, simple route. So now after that, once we have created add post, now we need one more API to search the classrooms. Okay, so I'm just gonna go here and let's close this here. Okay, now here I want to search the classroom by what? By classroom name, obviously. So in the try method, and then we have the catch method. Okay, so inside the try, what we need is we need to just say, first of all, extract the search term from the query. Okay, whatever user types, suppose CLA, suppose user types that, so I'm going to return classroom 1, classroom 2, classroom 3. That means name of the classrooms which are available. Okay, so any user can search any classroom, but they cannot go inside a classroom unless they join the classroom. Okay, so I'm just going to say if the term is not provided, that means empty, so you're just going to say search term is required. Okay, so if the search is empty, you haven't provided anything to search, so you're gonna return this error. Okay, or you can just gonna say you're gonna show this. Okay, so you can just make it 200, that would be better, or let's make it 400, show it as an error. Okay, someone tries to search empty things. Okay, then in extra case, what we're gonna do is, suppose the term is here, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna search that term in the classroom. Okay, so I'm just gonna say let results, let results, okay, equals, and I'm just gonna say await class room dot find. Okay, and inside this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say that the name of that specific classroom must match. That means basically I'm going to get all the classrooms, name of that classroom. I'm going to create a regular expression, and here you're just going to write regular, REGEXP, like this. Inside this, you need to provide the text which the user has provided to search. Okay, and then guys, I'm going to provide I here. Just a second. Okay, fine. So now I'm simply saying whatever term is provided, you need to find in the name field of every classroom. Okay, if the name contains that specific term, like suppose if I type CLA, so it's gonna give classroom 1, classroom 2, classroom 3. That means CLA is available in classroom 1, classroom 2, classroom 3, right? The text CLA, CLASSROOM. Okay, so it simply means that, yeah, it's gonna give it as a search result. Okay, so we are searching the classrooms by name. And I'm just gonna say that if results are empty, the length is 0, you're just gonna say classroom not found. Okay, not found. Okay, and in this case, you're just gonna say that if results are there, search results and the results. Okay, fine, looks good. Now everything is fine. Now after this, guys, we need to create one more API, that is request to join. Request to join would simply take the request and send the OTP to the teacher and also save it to the modal. Okay, to the classroom join modal. So here what we're going to do is we're going to ask for what, to which classroom the student wants to join. Okay, the student wants to join this classroom. Okay, so I've asked both of these things. Okay, then I'm simply going to say that if classroom ID and student ID is not there, just give this error. Okay, else I'm gonna run this try catch. Now here what we're going to do is we're simply going to create, okay, first of all, we're going to find that classroom by class ID. Okay, we found the classroom. From that, we need to get the classroom owner. Okay, we need to get the classroom owner. We got the classroom owner's ID. Okay, remember, owner's ID is stored in the owner field of classroom. Now from that owner ID, we need to extract the email of the owner. Okay, email of the teacher, so that I can send the email to the teacher. So I have extracted the email of the teacher, okay, the owner of the classroom, right? So now I'll generate a code. So this is obviously a very lame way for generating code, but yeah, anyways, you can use a better method. Okay, we have better things you can use. Right now I've just generated with the help of math.floor. It generates 6-digit code, OTP code, okay, random. Now after that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna simply call the mailer function. It's gonna simply ask for teacher's email and the code which I've generated. Fine. Now if is send is false, I'm gonna throw an error. That means fail to send OTP. If is send is true, then after that I'm gonna save the things to the database. So I'm just gonna say classroom ID, student email, code, classroom owner email. We are gonna send all of these things. We're gonna save all of these things to a schema. Okay, to a schema, to my database. Why we are saving it? To just compare the OTP whenever in future OTP is provided. Okay, we're gonna see that when we implement this API. So we are just saving things in the database also. After that, we are just gonna save the things. So classroom join save. Then after that, I'm gonna send response. Your OTP is sent. Okay. Now once OTP is sent, it's gonna be sent to whom? So here I'm just gonna write OTP is sent to, first of all, it's sent to the teacher. That means the owner of the classroom, right? So teacher, and saved to database student join. Okay, student join database, right? Named as student join. Okay, that means basically a collection, DB collection. Okay, in this collection, student join collection, so OTP is stored in the form of an object. Okay, two places it's stored. Now the teacher provides the OTP to the student. So student would provide the OTP to the backend. Okay, so I'm simply gonna say router dot get, and here I'm gonna say, let's call this API classrooms for student. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, before that I'm gonna verify the OTP, right? I need an API to verify the OTP. The student is going to provide the OTP to us. So this would be the API, okay, which would ask the student, to provide OTP. Now here what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the classroom ID, student OTP, a student email, okay, which student wants, and then the OTP. So with the help of these three things, we are gonna find what? We are gonna find this specific object. Okay, we're gonna match this specific object. That means this classroom to this classroom, the student wanted to join. This would be the OTP. Okay, so I'm gonna match all these three things. If all these three things match with these, okay, with student email, with classroom ID and code, then obviously you are correct. Okay, you have provided the correct OTP. Okay, we don't need to check the owner email also, but yeah, you, if you want to check, you can again check, that's fine. Okay, so you have simply first of all given the error if it doesn't exist, and in the else case we're gonna call the try catch. So catch would be here, right? And after this, guys, what we're gonna say is we are just going to simply find the three things, okay, the three things in my classroom join. So I'm trying to find an object which contains all the three things, right? So we saved this object, so I'm trying to find that object with the help of the details. Okay, if these three things match, that means you have provided the correct OTP for the correct classroom ID for the correct student email. Okay, if all the things match, that means you are allowed to join the classroom. So you're gonna say if join request doesn't exist, you're gonna show the error, that means invalid details. If you try to find the classroom, okay, we try to find the classroom doesn't exist, again the error. Okay, if the student already is there, if student is not there in the classroom, then only I'm allowed to join the classroom. So I'm just simply saying if my email is not already there in the students list, in that case only I'm allowed to join the list. Okay, obviously if you are already part of the classroom, this condition won't run. If you are not the part of the classroom, then only you would be allowed, right? So classroom.students.push, and I'm passing that student email who wants to join the classroom. Okay, then after that I'm just gonna save, I'm gonna delete that join request, that means that object, from my database, because now it's not required. Okay, why do I need to store this now in my database? That means whatever I saved while sending the OTP, why do I need to store it further? Now OTP is verified, student is part of the classroom. I don't need this. I'll simply delete this, erase this from my database, erase that specific object from my database for storing OTP. Okay, then after that I'm just gonna say classroom joined successfully. Okay, classroom joined successfully. Okay, so this is the case. Now this is one more API. Right after that, we need one more API. So it's gonna give me classrooms which a student has joined. Okay, so it's similar to the API, which is classrooms which a teacher has created. Similarly, we have a classroom, we have a list of all the classrooms which student has joined. Okay, so it's gonna give me list of classroom which student has joined. Okay, so I'm simply gonna say this is the try method. Okay, that's it. And then guys, we're gonna have the catch method here. Right? Now here what we're gonna do is we're gonna say that const user equals await user dot find by ID, right? Now I'm gonna say just say that if user is not found, then try to find the student email. Okay, so I'm gonna say give me all the classrooms in which my student is available in the students list. Okay, that's it. After that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say that if classroom length is equal to 0, simply gonna say no classroom found. If classroom length is available, that means these are the classrooms which you have joined. Okay, so guys, these were some APIs which I wanted to tell you. Now I'm going to simply add these things to the front end. Okay, fine. I hope everything is fine till now. All right, let's go back to the front end now. I know it's been boring to only work on the backend till now. So now we're gonna jump back to the front end. Okay, so backend is fine till now. You can see no error. Now we're gonna use these APIs in the front end. Okay, so let's come back to the front end. And see this is the front end. Okay, we're gonna go to first of all which page? We're gonna go to the profile page actually. Okay, here we are in the profile page. Okay, so if I show you the code, here you can see my role is student. Okay, that means I'm logged in as student. So here guys, what we need to do is first of all I'm gonna log in as teacher. So I created an account like this. Let me just log in. So now I'm logged in as an ID which is teacher. Okay, we created this in last video. See here guys, we created this create classroom method. Okay, so it's gonna give me what? So I'm just gonna create a classroom one. Okay, and I'm just gonna say this is for GK. Okay, this is for GK. So submit, right? So you can see this is done. We created one classroom. Then we're gonna create another classroom, classroom 2. Okay, this is for maths. Okay, this is for maths, right? This is fine. Now guys, first of all I'm gonna create an API to search classroom. Okay, to search classroom. So here we need to add it at the top. So we need to basically go to the navbar. Okay, so we're gonna go to the navbar. Let's go to the navbar component, navbar.js, right? Here in navbar we are gonna simply create a hook, okay, to show some kind of pop-up. Okay, and I'm gonna simply say whenever I click on this, the value would switch between true and false. Okay, now after that we are gonna simply say as soon as I need to remove this input button. Okay, I just have this search icon, so I'm gonna show you back. Use state is not defined, so you need to basically define use state. So you can see that we need the search icon. If I click on this, I wanna simply say whenever I click on this, I wanna toggle the values. Okay, so whenever I click on this, I'm gonna toggle the values. Okay, once I toggle the value, what you need to do is just after the SVG, I'm just gonna create a component. Okay, so I'm gonna create a component. I'm gonna call it as search pop.qp.js. Okay, and RAFCE this component. So I'm gonna call this here. So I'm just gonna say that whenever the show pop-up value is true, in that case I'm gonna show this kind of pop-up. Okay, so yeah, show search pop-up. Okay, let's see if it works. So if I click on this, you can see search pop-up is here. Now I'm gonna style this properly, obviously. So search pop-up. Okay, so but before that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say that the navbar is having position as relative. Okay, I think I don't need to give that. I need to give it to the CSS part of the left side. I think I can give it relative. Okay, first of all do that. Then after that, I'm gonna work on the search pop.up.css. Okay, search popup.css. Now let's work on this pop-up. Okay, so how it's gonna work? So first of all, I'm gonna import all the things. Okay, then guys, I'm gonna create hooks. So first of all, whatever you're gonna type is gonna be stored in search term, and this would contain result of classrooms, array of classrooms. Okay, and then we are also going to have a method to navigate to that specific classroom. Here we're gonna have one function called as handle search change. and one more function for handle item click. Okay, what happens when you click on that item? Fine, let's close this. Fine. Now guys, I'm gonna simply say we have a division here. Okay, so here we're gonna create a division. Let's close this division. Fine. Now inside this, what we're gonna do is we are gonna simply create one pop-up content. Okay, so it's gonna be an input field where we can write things. So inside the pop-up content, first of all, we have the search container. Okay, so let's close this. Okay, so first of all, we have the search container. Then the second one would be containing the results. Okay, so here we're gonna store the results. Okay, so in the search container, what we're gonna have is we're gonna simply say that we have an input. Okay, whenever I click on this, handle search change function would be called. Okay, so inside the handle search change function, we are gonna simply set the search term. Okay, whenever there is a change, this function would be called. Okay, now whenever the search term is changed, you can see its value would be updated. Okay, so whatever you type here is provided to this function. Whatever happens in this function, you can see it's set to the search term. Search term is shown here. That means it's proper sync, it's in proper syncs. Okay, so now this is fine. Now what else you need is you need a button. Okay, so whenever you click on that button, okay, on close method is called. Okay, on close method is called. So in this method, basically what we have, okay, so on close method would simply toggle things. Okay, so I'm gonna go to navbar. Here you would simply see that on close is simply toggling. Okay, that means it's gonna close my pop-up. Okay, so on close method would be called. Now the search results, if I talk about the search results, so results are basically going to contain the name. Okay, so first of all, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna simply show you what actually happens. So I'm gonna simply call the API. So I'm gonna say that if term exists, okay, if search term exists, then I'm gonna search the classroom. Okay, in the else case, I'm simply going to say that set results as blank array. Okay, don't show an error, just set the blank array. Okay, then I'm gonna simply call try and catch. So catch would again simply set the results as empty. It's not going to show any error, empty. Okay, then after that, I'm gonna call the API. So this API is what? In the class route, we have classroom slash search. Okay, if I go to classroom routes, can simply see if you wanna search something, you can just go here, classroom slash search. So slash class slash classrooms slash search. Okay, that's fine. We can actually fix this, change this later. But yeah, anyways, route is long, but you can make it shorter also. And this would actually convert it to some kind of searchable string. Okay, then after that, I'm simply sending it to my API. Okay, once I send it to my API, if response okay is false, you're simply going to show that error. Okay, you're going to show that error and you're going to make it empty. Okay, then after that, if response is there, I'm simply going to set that data to my results. Okay, very easy, right? So let's print that also. So I'm printing the data. So if I inspect, if I go to console, and here if I write C, so you can see basically there is a search error, internal server error. Response was not okay. Okay, I think this is containing some issue. What's the exact issue? Let's go to backend, and here you can see cannot string regex with string, cannot use regex with string. Okay, I think I provided something wrong there. Okay, so I'm gonna go to this classroom. Okay, and now let's try again. So you can see if I write CL, you can see I got search results. Okay, so here we got the data and we got all the classrooms which have CL in their name. You can see I didn't get FAS. You can see I got all the classrooms which have CL in their name. Okay, that means search is working properly. Now I need to just show the search results. Okay, so showing the search result is pretty easy. What you need to do is you need to go to the search pop-up, right? Here you got the search results. Okay, so in the search results, once you got the search results, you are simply able to see that it contains the result.name. Okay, so I'm just gonna say just map the results. Okay, just map the results, right? From that extract the name, right? You can see if I just inspect console, basically this one, you can see we basically have to just extract the name. Okay, just extract the name. Okay, so you can see I'm getting all the names here, but I need to fix the UI here. Okay, so to fix the UI, I'm gonna simply go to search popup.js. Okay, search popup.js, search popup.css, I'm sorry. Here I'm gonna simply say, first of all, its position is fixed, top and left. That means related to the left side of navbar, position would be fixed. Okay, so now you would simply see that basically I am simply saying according to the navbar, I'm simply saying that it comes in center. It takes full height, width, and now it comes in center. Fine. I'm simply going to say that the search pop-up content would be having background color white, width 80%, max width of that would be 500, maximum height would be 80%. Okay, so you can see that accordingly. Now if I just write something, so you can see accordingly I would show the data. Okay, so I'm first of all gonna style the search container. Okay, so you would see that search container is this one. Then I'm also going to handle the search pop-up close. So you can see search pop-up close. I think there is some problem with the search container. Let's see. Okay, it's actually problem with the input field. Okay, yeah. Also, if I am hovering on this, I'm going to change the color. If I have the input field, I'm going to style the input field. So you can see that it's taking space like this. Okay. Then guys, if I talk about the search results, it's a child, that is the li tag. Okay, I'm going to give padding, border bottom, some transition. Last child won't be having any border. Okay, then after that, if I hover on this, I'll change the color. And then after that, inside this, we have the span tag, which shows the text. I'm going to set it color to be dark gray. Okay, then if there are no results, I'm going to show it like this. Okay, so if I say classroom, okay, so you can see that we got classroom 1. Okay, now what else we need to do is we need to simply create handle item click function. Okay, we need to work on this one. Okay, so basically we are talking about this handle item click function. And when I click on this function, I am simply going to navigate to a page known as slash classes slash the ID of that classroom. Okay, and also I'm going to close this pop-up. Okay, fine. So let's see, if I click on this, you can see that it's navigated to this page. Fine, but this page is not declared yet, so we're going to declare that. So I'm going to go to this pages. Okay, here we're going to simply go to class details. Okay, we're going to create a page named as class details, class dot js. Okay, similarly I'm going to create one more page, class details dot css. Okay, fine, we have created 2 pages. Here I'm going to say RAFCE. Okay, this is there. Now I'm going to create that route into my page. Okay, obviously this page. So here I'm going to copy this. Okay, and I'm going to paste it here, and class slash colon, I think I have to provide the class ID also. So I'm going to write here classes slash class ID. Okay, fine. And inside that, I'm gonna simply call that component of class details and simply import that. You can see classes details actually. I think I provided class details or classes details. Okay, I think I provided the wrong name here. Let me just call it classes details or class details, whatever you call. Okay, that's fine. I've just named it everywhere classes details, so I'm gonna stick with that. Okay, now fine. So yeah, basically you can see that inside this I have to simply import it. Okay, so it's imported. Now let's see. So you can see you see the class details page. Okay, whenever I hover click on this, you can see the class details page. Fine, you are in the class details page. Now here what we need to do is we need to get the class details with the help of class ID. So first of all, I'm gonna import the CSS and everything, right? Then after that, I'm gonna extract the class ID from the params, and I'm gonna show it here for now. So class ID. Okay, let's see if it works. So you can see you're able to get the class ID. If I go back and suppose if I click on classroom 2, so even if I click on this again, I wanna do the same routing. So how can I do that? So I'm gonna go to this profile page. Okay, and here you can see whenever I click on a class, what do I need to do? I need to just handle the click of that. Okay, so I'm just going to create a function here named as handle row click. Okay, whenever I click on that, I'm going to navigate. Okay, so here what we need to do is whenever I click on any classroom, okay, whenever I click on that any classroom, I'm simply going to call on click. So here I'm just going to call on click. Now I click on that row, I'm gonna go to this specific class ID. Okay, and this class ID would take me to this route. So let's come back here. Navigate is not defined, so we need to define the navigate somewhere. So I'm going to define it here only, and we need to import use navigate. So I'm going to import it from React Router DOM. So now you can see if I click on classroom 2, you can see I got to classroom 2. Similarly, if I search for any other classroom, so if I write CLS1, so you can see it got to CLS1. Fine. So we are able to get here. Now we need to get the class details from the class ID. So let's go to class details page. We have the class ID, right? So we need to simply say, okay, we need to make a few imports. So first of all, I'm gonna make 3 imports, which is we need to import auth, we need to create a state for classroom, storing the classroom data and loading true and false. Okay, then we also need to store the user data. Then we are going to create a pop-up for managing the post. Okay, then we're gonna simply say post title and description for asking for title and description when we are creating a new post. Okay, then one more thing is when we are joining a classroom, in that case also we're gonna say show join pop-up. Inside that I'm gonna ask for OTP, and then we are gonna create show OTP pop-up, and I'm gonna show the OTP error. Okay, so this is it. Now one more thing, which is navigate. Okay, now one more thing, which is fetching the class details. Okay, so this function would be created, fetching class details function. Then guys, we're gonna call this function whenever I come to this page or class ID from the route changes. Okay, now the second function would be fetch user. So I'm gonna fetch the user. Okay, fetch the user. So this function would be called, actually I'm gonna fetch the user, and this function would be exactly like the profile page. Okay, so this function is exactly like the profile page. You're gonna call this API, you're gonna set it to user hook. That's it. Okay, that's it. We don't need auth here. We can actually remove this. Okay, fine. Or else if you wanna keep it, you can, or else you can remove it. I think I can just remove it now. Okay, so yeah, this is fine, and this is fine. Okay, so this would be the fetch user, right? Everything till now is fine. Now guys, I'm gonna create one function. Okay, so this function would be handle at post. Let's leave it empty. Okay, then we're gonna have one function for handle submit post. Again, let's keep it empty. Then what else we need is we need one function for closing the pop-up. I know I'm using a lot of functions here, I need to remember a lot of things, but anyways, we have one more function for handling join request. Okay, then after that we're gonna have handle submit OTP. Then after that we have one more, which is handle close OTP pop-up. Okay, then after that I'm gonna say if loading is true, just show the loading text. Okay, and one more thing, I'm gonna say that if I am a student of this classroom, then I must be available in the students list. Okay, if I'm in the students list, then I must be available here. Okay, and one more thing is const is owner. So here what I'm gonna do is classroom dot owner. Okay, classroom dot owner equals user dot underscore id. Okay, if both of these match, that means I'm the owner. Okay, so this would actually identify, are you a student of this classroom, that means you are available in this classroom, or you are the owner of this classroom. Okay, so these two things are important, right? So now let's come back to the fetch classroom data. Okay, so inside the fetch classroom data, fetch classroom details, we are gonna fetch the details of the classroom, right? So how it's gonna work? So first of all, I'm gonna call the API to fetch class details with the help of class ID, right? We created this API, get class by ID, we provided the class ID, and we're gonna get the response. So once you get the response, you're gonna simply say you're gonna pass it to try catch. Okay, so this is something like this. So once you get the response, you're gonna say if it's okay, set data.data. If it's false, just set data.message, or just show something like this, or else you're gonna show the error, and at the end set loading would become false. Okay, so you can actually do one thing here. You can just provide set loading as true. Okay, so it's gonna show loading. Okay, so if I refresh, you can see first it showed loading, then after that you can see that there is some problem. What's the problem? Cannot read properties of null. Okay, so basically we actually didn't get the student ID, so in that case you're just gonna keep this like this one. Okay, so I'm gonna refresh, you can see everything is fine. Okay, it set it the data to set classroom, so we need to show the data in this page. Okay, how we're gonna show that? So it's pretty simple. We got the classroom data, right? So for showing that, I'm gonna simply say class details, classroom dot name. Okay, I'm gonna show the name here. If I get the name, so you can see you got CLS1. Okay, so if I go to any other classroom, you can see you got CLS2. If I go to any other classroom, suppose classroom 1, you can see you got classroom 1. That means you got the name with the help of API. Okay, before that you're just getting the ID. From that ID you got the whole classroom data. Okay, that means that API is working perfectly. Fetch classroom details. Right now, after that, we're gonna complete the API of handle, add, post, and other things. Okay, I'm gonna complete that part later. I'm gonna go here. Okay, I'm gonna complete the styling part first. Okay, I'm gonna create the UI part here so that we at least see something here. Okay, later on we are gonna handle that functionality of joining classroom and things like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that this is section 1. Okay, inside this section, what you are going to see, so simply you're going to show the image of the classroom, temporary image. I'm going to show some temporary description of the classroom, right? Pragyangiri, hi. Nikhil, hi. Please repeat again. Please watch the remaining part. Okay, this is the live session, so you can just restart from wherever you skipped. Okay, so yeah, you can see that we have H1 tag, then we have the P tag. Or else if you didn't understand any part, you can mention in the live chat, yeah, it's fine. But please mention the specific part. Okay, but if you missed out something, you can just watch the video again. Fire. Okay, fair enough. Right, so we basically have shown the details of name, description, and some random classroom details. Okay, let's come back here. You can see that, yeah, we got classroom. This is for GK. This data is coming from the API, by the way, right? So I'm gonna go here. Let's go to classroom 2. You can see this is for maths. That means it's working fine. Okay, this is some random image. Fine. So now, after getting these details, I'm gonna simply say if I am the teacher. Okay, if I am the teacher. Okay, if my role is teacher. Okay, and I am the owner of the classroom. Okay, what I'm gonna say is and is owner. Okay, if both these details are true. Okay, obviously I'm the owner of the classroom and I am a teacher. If I think this condition is also not required. Okay, this condition is also not required. If you are the owner of the classroom, then you can simply post. Okay, so if you are owner of the classroom, you can just post. So let's post. Okay, so I've simply shown a add post button. So you can see add post button is here. Okay, so for example, I'm gonna log out. Okay, log out, and I'm gonna log in with, suppose, a student who is not the owner of the classroom. So now I am logged in with a student. If I go here, you can see in that case also, in that case, I don't get the join classroom. Fine, looks fair, right? So yeah, that's it. Now I'm gonna go back to the teacher. Okay, so let's become teacher again. You can see in that case also, in that case, I am getting add post. Fine. So if you are the owner, then in that case only you are getting add post. Okay, then after that, I'm gonna say that if you are not a student and you are not the owner. Okay, not the owner, that means if is owner, if you are not the owner and if you are not the part of the class, in that case you are going to get a button to join class, right? You can join the class even if you are a teacher, but you can join a class. Obviously you can send request to another teacher. That means a teacher can join another teacher's class. That's fine. But yeah, if I have not created this classroom and also I'm not a student of this classroom, that means I'm not a part of this classroom, in that case I'm going to show join class button. But in you can see that right now it's fine. Okay, but suppose if I log in with a student which is not a part of that class. Okay, okay, so let me just suppose show this one. You can see I'm getting join class because I'm not a part of this classroom. I've never seen this classroom. Okay, so we have this join classroom. Okay, so once I do this, I would simply say set show join pop-up as true. Okay, so we're gonna make this as true. So once this pop-up is true, we're gonna do something later, but right now I'm just making this as true, right? So this is it. Okay, so now after that, I'm just gonna say post grid. Okay, so here I can just simply say if is student is true, or if I am the owner. In that case only, I'm gonna show the post. Okay, in that case only, I'm gonna show the post. So I'll just simply make these two in brackets so that there is no confusion. If any of these two statements is true, that case only I'm gonna show the post. Okay, reading post is allowed for both part of the classroom, that means students, as well as the owner of the classroom, that is the teacher. Okay, now I'm gonna simply say if the classroom dot post length is greater than 0, okay, in that case I'm gonna show the post, else I'm just gonna say, okay, no post available. Okay, I'm just gonna show this text inside the p tag. Okay, let's close this p tag. Okay, and here I'm just gonna show no post available. Okay, but in this case, I think what's the problem? Okay, I'll do one thing, simple thing. Okay, yes. So if you are a student or a owner and the post dot length is greater than 0, then you're just gonna show the post. Okay, you're gonna show post here. So how you can show the post? So what you're going to do is you're just going to map the post. So classroom dot post. Okay, right? Right. So you're gonna show the post inside a division. Here we have a division. Okay. Inside this, we're gonna show some posts. If there are posts, okay, if there are posts, showing post available. Fine. So right now you can see no post available because you are not the member of the classroom. That's why you are seeing no post available. If posts are not available, in that case also you're gonna see this. That means if there are 0 posts, in that case also you're gonna see this. Okay, fine. So basically this is done. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a function for adding post. Okay, so how we can add the post? So here guys, we have simply said we have add post. Okay, so now I'm going to simply do this for you, how we can add a post. Okay, so this pop-up is very easy. So I'm just gonna say this would simply handle add post. Okay, whenever I click on this, it would handle add post. Inside the handle add post, we are going to simply say this pop-up became true. Okay, pop-up became true. Now I'm gonna talk about the pop-up below here. I'm just gonna say that we're gonna ask a few details. We'll just say that if show pop-up is true, okay, this is for the add post, right? If it's true, I'm gonna say that we have a division which is pop-up overlay. Okay, it would ask for what? It would ask for what? So remember, I'm a teacher, that is I'm the owner, that's why I'm only able to manipulate this pop-up. Okay, not everyone can manipulate this pop-up, not everyone can make this visible. Okay, only the owner. So I'm just setting the post title hook, right? Similarly, the description in the text area, right? Similarly, the third thing would be the submit and close button. Okay, 3 things. Okay, so submit and close button would simply handle submit post and handle close pop-up. Okay, so I'm gonna finish those functions later. Now similarly guys, we have one more pop-up which is show join pop-up. Okay, so this join pop-up would allow me to join the classroom. What would it do? It would simply say, it would simply give me first of all the overlay, right? Let's close this one. Inside this, we're gonna show the content. Let's close this. Okay, then after that we are gonna have buttons here, which is send join request button and close button. Okay, we don't want to send the request. Then after that guys, we're gonna have heading join request, do you want to join this class? Okay, an OTP will be sent to this class owner for approval. Okay, so show join. Once this is closed, okay, then guys, we're gonna do the remaining part, but let's complete the add post part first. Okay, so add post is here. Let me just do the add post part. So since you are not the owner, so I'm gonna log in as an owner. Fine, let's click this And here guys, we are gonna go to this classroom and see add post. Once I do this, you can see I'm getting this pop-up. Okay, so let's complete the styles part first. So we're gonna do this really fast now. So style parts. So first of all, I'm gonna say that class details gonna have to be in center. Then section 1 would be text align center. So you can see, okay, so it's not closing right now because we haven't completed the close part. Okay, but you can see that now it's in center. Now after that, we have the class image styled like this, class name styled like this. Then we have to style the add post button. Okay, so you can see all these things are styled like this. Okay, then after that, we are gonna also style the hover of it. Okay, rest would be styled later. Okay, so we have styled it till now. Okay, rest is what I'm gonna style the pop-up overlay and pop-up content and pop-up input and pop-up button. Let's style that also. So I have styled all the details here. I've simply said pop-up overlay would take full space. In that center, I'm gonna show a box. There we have h3 tag, input text area, and the button. So you can see if I click on add post, I think I did one mistake, which is pop-up overlay. I don't know why it's not styled properly. um, Go to class details. Pop-up overlay. Yeah, overlay is working fine, but inside that I haven't added the inner pop-up content. That's why it's not working. So basically it must contain the pop-up content. Okay, so it must be inside the pop-up content. Okay, and let's close this one also. Close, fine, save. Now you can see it looks fine. Okay, so now I'm gonna add the post. Okay, so for adding the post, I need to complete the add post API. Okay, so add post API is here. uh Close pop-up. Okay, so I'm gonna make it false. Okay, so if I close on it, you can say I'm closing it. Now I'm gonna complete the submit part. Submit part simply calls this function. Okay, so I'm going to complete this function. So it's very easy. I'm just going to pass this inside the try catch. Okay, and in the catch, right? So you can see here we are going to call an API which we created to add post, right? So we're going to call that API. What it needs is simply class slash add post. We created this API today initially. Then we are providing the title, description, and class ID. That's it. So it would allow us to create the post. Once this is created, I'm simply going to empty everything. Okay, so I'm just gonna say once it's created, post created successfully, empty all the things, show pop-up as false, and fetch the class details. That means update the class data. Okay, now you have more posts in the classes. Okay, fine. So in the else case, you're gonna say fail to create post. Okay, so let's see if it works. So I'm gonna simply say let's print the class details. Inside the class details, I'm gonna print this data. Okay, so console dot log class, okay, and data. Okay, I'm printing this. So if I try to add title, so suppose my GFG notes, okay, and you're gonna say these are DSA notes, something like this you're gonna provide. Okay, now if I click on submit, you can see post created successfully, and if I inspect this, you can see that here basically we got a new object. Here we got post, inside that we got this object. Fine. If I click on again this, and I'm gonna say my lead code solutions. Okay, and you're gonna pass some random description here. Now if I click on submit, you can see it's created. Now inside the classroom, you can see now you have two posts. That means the posts are available here. Fine, the posts are available here. Fine, that means I'm able to create the things. These things are saved in the database, obviously, right? So this is done. Now my classrooms are updated. Fine, the posts are being created successfully. Now what you need to do is you need to show the post. Okay, show the post. So how we're gonna show the post? So obviously we're gonna show the post in the grid format. So here what we need to do is here we were showing the post. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is here you can see showing post available. It's shown two times because obviously we were mapping, so it's showing me two times. So what we're going to do is we're just going to say we have a division, okay, which is gonna show me the title and description and the created ad of the post, right? So you can see that's how we're gonna show it, right? So let's style this. Let's style this postcard. So I'm going to go to class details and let's style the postcard. So postcard is very easy. First of all, it's inside the post grid. So I'm gonna style the post grid. I'm just gonna say first of all display flex. That means things would be in row. Then each postcard would be styled. So I'm gonna be giving it background color white, some padding, some box shadow. So you can see each postcard is right now like this, and then inside this we have h3 and p tag. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go back to class details. Okay, here we have not decided post grid, so we need to write the post grid also. So post grid is basically outside. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut this, create a division, class post grid. Right, let's close this. So now you can see, oh nahi aaya. Okay, let's see. Okay, I did one mistake. Yeah, it must not be here. I'm sorry, my mistake. I just messed out. Okay, so basically post grid is gonna be here. So I have a division. Let's give it a class of post dash grid. Okay, and you can now see that I provided it array. Again, it's not working. Kya ho gaya? So we have things inside post grid. Let me just go to the CSS part. We have styled the post grid, right? I'm gonna give it background color of red. Post grid. Okay, right. So now it's working properly. Fine. So you can see we are able to see the grid properly. Okay, so if I add more nodes, definitely would be added downwards. Okay, fine. I'll just say flex wrap equals wrap. Okay, so it would just add the wrap property here. Fine. Now what we need to do is we need to simply go to the add post. Let's add a new post. Okay, so I'm just gonna say my DSA problems. Okay, and I'm just adding some kind of description, submit. So you can see that now it's here. Fine, so it looks fine, and you can just add the minimum width and you can style it more right off, but you can see this is fine. And now after that, you are a teacher, so you can obviously see this. But suppose now you join it as a student. Okay, so now I'm gonna join it, login as a student, login as a student, and which classroom? uh, Classroom number 2. Okay, so I am in classroom number 2, but you can see I'm getting join class function, join class button. Why am I getting the join class button? Because obviously I'm not a part of this classroom. Okay, so I'm gonna give it the same style of add post button, this join class button. Let's go here, and this is the join class button. So I'm gonna say add post button. Okay, similar style. So you can see that, yeah, I get this join class. Now as soon as I click on this, I want to show a pop-up. Which pop-up? If I click on this, you can see I'm getting this pop-up, right? So as soon as I click on send join request, okay, as soon as I click on this, I want to simply call the function which is handle join request. Okay, so here you can see which function is called handle join request. So inside the handle join request, we need to write something, obviously. So we need to simply say we are going to call an API. Which API? Request to join API. Okay, let's close this. And then in the catch case, I am going to simply say an error occurred. Okay, so here we're gonna simply send an OTP to the teacher, right, to the owner of the classroom. So I'm just going to say that this API would be called request to join, okay, to this classroom ID and the student ID. We are not providing the owner ID because owner ID can be extracted from the classroom itself. Okay, so we are just providing it this much. This API has been created in the backend. Okay, now I'm just gonna say that data equals await response.json. Okay, now what else? We're gonna say that OTP sent to the class owner. Now we need to check, is the OTP sent to the classroom owner or not? Okay, so first of all, it's calling the send join request. Okay, so let me just open Google Chrome, right? Hello, Parihar Singh. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna go to Gmail. Okay, Viraj J013. Okay, Viraj J013. This is the teacher, classroom owner, right? So basically, we are logged in as Viraj J014, which is what? Which is a student. Okay, if you don't believe me, I am logged in as a student, right? 014, and 013 is the owner of this classroom too. Okay, so what actually would happen is, I am, suppose here, I want to join which classroom. So I'm gonna come here. Now I'm gonna simply type this. I'm not a member of this classroom too. So you can see it would show me join class. If I click on this, it would show me this pop-up. If I click on sign join request, it's gonna try to send the joining request. You can see, you can show the loading icon also and things like that. Once OTP is sent, you can see OTP is sent to the classroom owner. So to whom the OTP is sent, you can see that the OTP is being sent to this person. Okay, so now I got the OTP. Okay, now I got the OTP, right? So don't confuse with this. This is actually coming because company email. Okay, don't confuse with this. But who received the email? This is the teacher's email. Owner of the classroom. Owner of the classroom received this email. So now what we need is, we need to create a pop-up for the student. Student would ask the OTP from the teacher. Teacher would provide this OTP to the student. Okay, now student would enter the OTP. So for that, we need to complete this part. Okay, so what we're going to do is, as soon as this happens, we are gonna show the OTP. Okay, show OTP pop-up. Okay, as soon as I click on this, I have simply enabled the show OTP pop-up. Let me just show you that. You can see, as soon as it's completed, show OTP pop-up is true. Now I'm gonna enter the OTP. Okay, now I'm gonna enter the OTP. So here guys, we're gonna complete that. So this show OTP pop-up is true, right? Right, so inside this, what we need is, we need to simply again create two divisions. Okay, inside this, what we need is, we need to simply ask for the user to enter OTP into the hook, right? After entering the OTP, if there is an error, set the error here or show the error here, or you can show the toast. Okay, or you're also going to have the submit button and close button. So handle submit OTP. Let's complete this part. Okay, let's complete this part. So this handle submit OTP would be simply calling the verify OTP API which we created, right? So it's gonna call the verify OTP API. Okay, so this API simply requires what? So we created it in the class detail class routes, right? We simply created this API, verify OTP API. What it needs, it simply needs the classroom ID. We provided the class ID. It needs the student email. We provided the student email. Then it needed the OTP. So we provided the OTP. Fine. We provided the OTP. Now what we need is, we need to simply say, if response is okay, then just say successfully joined the classroom. Okay, the classroom joining would happen in the backend itself. Okay, so this would happen. If there is an error, we're gonna show the error. Okay, and also guys, we need to handle the catch case. Okay, so I think I did one mistake here. We are gonna pass the catch case here. So catch error, and I'll show you the error. An error occurred while verifying the OTP. Let's do it. Okay, and one more thing, we need to complete the close OTP pop-up also. Okay, close OTP pop-up, set OTP error. Okay, fine. And also one more thing, that is, I'm fetching the class details again, because since now I joined the classroom, so my name must be available in the students list. Since my name is now available in the students list, that means I'm the student. Since I am a student, so I'm not going to see this button. Okay, I'm not going to see anything like no post available. I'm going to able to see the post. Okay, that's it. So let's do it. So I'm gonna go here. Okay, now first of all, let's close. Send a join request. Okay, so it's sending the joining request. You can just add a loader here. Now OTP is sent. So let's go to the teacher. Okay, the teacher is what? Teacher is Viraj013, right? So Viraj013, that means basically this email is Viraj013. This is the teacher. Okay, so Viraj013 would basically receive this email, right? So this OTP is received. Now the teacher sent the OTP to the student via WhatsApp or something. Okay, now if I click on submit, okay, basically there is an error occurred while verifying the OTP. Let me just inspect and check. Server responded with a status of 404. Okay, strange. So let's go to the server. Verify OTP. Okay, fine. Now let's click on submit. 404 not found. I think I did one mistake. Let's go to class details. Um, the API is here, verify OTP API. Okay, fine. I think this is fine till here. 404 not found. If I click on submit, 404 not found error is here. Why is this showing me the error? Let's come back here. I am going to go to the classroom routes. Okay, and here guys, I think there is one mistake which I did. Let me just try to print this. Okay, let me just try to print everything coming here. So console.log verify OTP. Okay, let's try this. Okay, so yeah, I am trying to do the same thing again. Okay, let me just close it. Join classroom, send join request. So it's sending the join request. Now if I click on submit, okay, obviously I provided wrong OTP, but here I needed to check. So you can see that verify OTP is actually not even called. Okay, it's not calling the verify OTP. Verify OTP is not called. Let me just go to the class details page and let me just check the API. So class slash verify OTP. Okay, I think this is fine, but it's not working. Why? Because credentials are include. Okay, an error occurred while verifying the OTP. Let me just print this console.log err. Okay, fine. Let's print the error. So if I click on submit, can see that basically the format is wrong. Okay, what's the issue? So I'm just going to say we have the class ID and we need to simply print this. Okay, so we're gonna print this first of all. Okay, so these are some silly mistakes which I do. So I'll just say console.log and let's print this. Let's see what's the issue. If I click on submit, you can see you got classroom, OTP and student details. This is fine. Most probably there is an issue with the API itself slash verify OTP. Verify OTP. I think this much is also fine. Let me just try again. What issue have I think okay, this would be the issue. Basically there are some bracket based issues, maybe, most probably. So I'm gonna refactor this. Okay, now let's try again. Maybe there is some bracket issue. Okay, so you can see error occurred while getting this. Again, I'm gonna print it. Print the error. What's the exact error? Console dot log error. Okay, error. Let's click on submit. Unexpected token is not a valid JSON. Okay. Basically you are saying JSON.stringify is called here. Okay, then you need the OTP. Okay, you are providing the OTP. Let me just check here. What's the exact error? I'm not able to understand this. What's the exact error? Let's simply go to the API. Okay, this was a post method, right? So I'm gonna go to the classroom routes, and this is the mistake, right? This is the mistake. Can see that I simply have to change this to post method. That's it. Okay, so these are some silly mistakes which you need to avoid. Okay, so now you can see that's fine. Okay, so instead of post, I provided get there. Okay, so that's wrong, right? So now I'm gonna come back here. Now if I show you something, okay, so now it's showing me internal server error. That means everything is fine till here. Server error, why it's showing me the server error? Let me just go to the classroom routes. Okay, and let me just print the error first. So console dot log and err. Okay, I'm printing the error. What's the exact error here? Okay, let's save this. If I click on submit, This is the error. What's the exact error? Input must be a string. Okay, so this is the problem. Cast to object failed for value at path student because boolean error at schema obj. Okay, I think there is one mistake here, which is this student's email. Okay, student's email. So I'm gonna first of all print the student email here. Okay, so console dot log student email. Okay, so I'm just trying to print this. Okay, let's try it again. So if I click on this, you can see that OTP was correct, obviously. So you can see that it printed blank. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is, now that students, okay, so let's go to our schema. I think the ID must be provided in the schema. So let's go to the schema classroom model. Yes, I did the mistake here. I need to provide, okay, I am providing, I am trying to provide the email. Instead of that, I was providing here ID. Okay, I don't need to provide the ID. I'm just going to provide the email itself. Okay, so these are some silly things which I do. Again, now it must be fine. Okay, so now we would be able to set things properly. Okay, so now let's try to join a classroom. Okay, so I'm gonna refresh this first. Okay, so now if I click on send join request, okay, send join request, now I'd be able to join the classroom because my student email would be available in this list. Okay, so now enter OTP. So I'm gonna enter the OTP sent by received by the teacher. So I'm gonna go to the teacher's account. Okay, I am in the teacher's account. Teacher sent me this. Okay, paste it here, submit. So you can see that now I am a part of this classroom, but I cannot add posts because I'm a student, right? I'm a student, but I can simply see the things here. Okay, these were notes of this date, this date, this date, like that. Okay, so now I'm gonna log in as a teacher. Okay, how can I do that? So what I'll do is, here only I will log in as a teacher, localhost. Okay, now the teacher is Viraj013. I'll just log in. Okay, right? So you can just add the home page later. Right now I'm not adding the home page part because this is part 3 and we wanted to do the main thing here. So you can see that this is it. We have this profile page. Okay, this is a teacher. I'm going to create a classroom. Okay, right? So I'm going to create my GFG classroom. Okay, and this is for MERN. Okay, now if I click on submit, you can see that this is here, right? So teacher created the classroom. Okay, teacher created the classroom. Now the student would simply go here. Okay, this is the student's account, right? I am logged in as a student. You can see this is what a student. Student would simply go here and simply search for GFG. Okay, so you can see they got GFG classroom. Okay, so now I'm inside GFG classroom. Okay, my GFG classroom. Now I'm not a member of this classroom, so I'm simply going to join class. Okay, click on join class. But before that, okay, this teacher is owner of the classroom, so they can do anything they want. Okay, you can see we have an option for add post. Okay, so I'm adding a post. So link to repo. Okay, and I'm gonna add the link to the repository. Suppose link of my GitHub account as notes. Okay, and I can add a readme here. All code is available. Okay, here all code is available. So you can see that I have added this. Okay, so I've added the post into my classroom, my own classroom. I own this classroom. Now as a student, you can see this is the teacher, right? As a student, I click on join classroom, send join request. This join request would be sent to what? To the email of the teacher. Okay, so email of the teacher is what? Viraj013, right? So Viraj013 simply received this. Okay, yeah, right, this is Viraj013. Okay, they simply received this. So I'm gonna pass this email here. I'm gonna submit. So you can see now I'm able to see the things here. Now what we need to do is, at the end, if I go here, you can see I cannot see the classroom joined by me. So we need to do one more thing here, which is we need to go to the profile page. Okay, profile page. So go to the profile page, src pages, profile page. Okay, here we were fetching the classrooms created by me. I need to fetch the classrooms joined by me. Okay, so how can I do that? So for that we created an API, right? We created an API to join the classroom, get the classroom joined by me. Okay, so we created the API in the backend, so we're just gonna get that. Okay, so for that again I'm using try catch. Okay, and catch, right? Here guys, what we need to do is we need to simply get the classrooms for student. That means even if you are a teacher, suppose you have joined any classroom, in that case also it would run. Even if you are a teacher, you might have joined a classroom of another teacher. If you are a student, you have joined a classroom of another teacher. In both cases this would run. Okay, I want this to run. Okay, then I'm gonna say that data would be here. If data is here, set that to a hook which I'm gonna call. This hook would be defined here, classrooms created by me. Okay, then I need to call this function, so I can simply call this function here, fetch classrooms created by me. Okay, do one thing, don't show any error here. Okay, don't show any error here, right? So you can show a empty text or something like that. So you can see that if I now teacher, okay, this is the teacher. But if you are a student, if you are logged in as a student, and now if I refresh, I want to show the classroom joined by B. Okay, so I want to show this. What I'll do is, actually in teacher's case only, you are gonna show the classrooms which they have created. Okay, the classrooms which they have created. But in other case, I'm also gonna show, always gonna show classroom joined, either by teacher, either by a student. Okay, so here what we need to do is we just need to simply call the API, the hook actually which we called. Okay, is gonna call that hook. So this would be simply showing me classrooms joined by me. Okay, so classroom joined by me, it's similar as classroom list which have you created, the classroom which you have created. So it would show me the classroom which I have joined, right? Which I have joined, right? So you can see that here I would be able to see all the classrooms which I have joined. Now here there is some slight issue. I think the API is not working properly. Let me just first of all check if the API is working properly or not. Okay, since I'm a teacher, I've not joined any classroom obviously, so this is empty. But let's see the student. Okay, so you can see that this student has joined the two classroom. They haven't created the classroom, but they have joined the two classroom. So you can see that it's available. This teacher has not joined any classroom, that's why it's empty obviously, right? So you can see that now the project has completed. Now teacher can create classroom, teacher can add post. This is a student. Student can join this classroom. If you want to join a classroom, suppose now you want to join classroom 1. If you want to join this classroom, so you can click on join class. Once you join the classroom, what you would do is you would simply search for the classroom from here, or you can go to your profile. From here also you can go for the classrooms, right? This is it, right? So guys, I hope you understood this project. Now the project is completed. I'm going to upload the source code to my GitHub repository. What you need to do is just you can visit my GitHub profile. Okay, I'm going to share this link in the description. You can just go here, github.com/viraj014. Okay, here you can just go to the repository. Here you get masters gang backend, masters gang frontend. Okay, both the source codes are available here. Okay, so I'll upload the source code. The latest would be available here after we end this session, right? So you can check out my LinkedIn. If you want to follow me, you can follow me here, and if you have any doubts, you can comment below or you can message me here. Okay, so that's it for today guys. I will see you in the next one.